What is going on, everybody? It's me, Earl here, and today we're going to be doing a Q&A question and answer about the W204 C350. So let's go ahead and get started with the first question. What problems have you encountered with the car? Well, there's really not that much problems I've encountered with this car the past 40,000 miles I've driven this car. I've had this car for over a year. It's been very reliable under my ownership, which is good because that's what you need a car to be. The only things that went wrong with this car was little bits and pieces in the interior, which is made out of plastic fantastic. So that means lots of plastic will be eventually going out with this car. Unfortunately, you have to keep in mind this car is over a decade old. There's gonna be inevitable problems like that will be happening, and probably even more as the years come by. The only big issue I had, which showed a check engine light, was the thermostat. However, the thermostat was definitely due for maintenance. I believe you're supposed to change the thermostat at 70,000 miles. I was over that. I was about probably like 100,000 to 105,000 between those. The part was only like $100 on FCP Euro, so I replaced that along with the serpentine belt kit and whatnot. After that, this car has been smooth sailing. So what year is this car? This car is one of the earlier versions of the W204. This is a 08. Actually, it's made in 07, but now you have to keep in mind with the older W204s, or like one of the first generations of the W204, they do have a little bit issues with the balance shaft. The M272 motor has the balance shaft issue. It causes the engine to seize and lock up and whatnot. You could always look it up if you have a VIN number on the W204 you're looking at. You can always just look it up on a website and show what engine you have, and luckily this car is not affected. Is it a CDI diesel? In North America, I believe they don't provide any diesel engines for the W204 platform. The Canadian market has the C280, but here in the United States, they only provide C300, C350, and the legendary C63 AMG. How is it right now? So far, it's been smooth sailing. It's one of those cars that you can really depend on. Despite me not really driving this as much as last time, in fact, I've only added like 3,000 miles the past couple of months. It's been a car that I know I can trust to do 500 miles, a 1,000-mile road trip. I've done a lot of things to it that is preventative maintenance. Just doing oil change alone gives me the confidence boost that I know this car will make it somewhere that I want it to be. All right, next question. How is the traction system? Also, how good is the braking and handling? Well, that's a really good question, actually. I've never thought someone would ask that. Traction control in this car is practically on all the time. That means even if you press the ESP button to turn it off, it will kick in. I believe Mercedes just did that for safety reasons. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you go to safe mode or something like that on the computer, you could definitely turn off the traction control, but even when you press the button to deactivate it, you really can't do burnouts or anything crazy like that because it will kick in a few seconds later. Now, how good is the braking? Now, as you can see, these brakes are slotted, therefore, quote unquote, they're sportier. However, I'm not sure if that really gives braking performance any benefit. I did notice that it's way better than my older Audi A4 B7 I had before this car. I've had many occasions where I had to really brake hard, random people crossing the street in the city. There's a lot of those occasions, and the fact that this car is able to brake that well is just phenomenal. And I think even today, this car brakes really well for what it is. Now, handling. This is actually one of the better handling Mercedes you can get at the time. I'm not sure about now since I'm not really familiar with the newer Mercedes. However, because this is the smallest in the lineup back in the old days, it actually handles really well. And because it's rear-wheel drive and it's front engine, it handles relatively well. And I just hope the traction control could be turned off properly. If it does, I believe this car could really just wake up and handle terrifically. Sure, it might not be a BMW. BMW handles way better because they're on the sportier side of the spectrum than this is. This is more on the luxury side of things. However, despite that, it still handles one of the better cars on the market at the time. How is the sound with the M272 engine? I noticed quite a few different sound characteristics between engine models of the V6 C350. Now, the M272 here in North America comes with two variants. That's the C300 and the C350. The C300 has a 3.0 liter, hence the C300 name. The C350 has a 3.5 liter engine, hence the C350 name. At the time, it's a very easy thing to tell whether this car has a smaller engine or the bigger engine. Anyways, I do notice a little bit of sound difference when it comes to the C300 and the C350. The C300 sounds a little bit high-pitched, more teenier because of the smaller engine. Not enough to notice, however, for me, I can notice because this car has a deeper grunt than the usual C300. Now, What is your preferred car wax that you use on your exterior paint? I actually have a few. This car is still on wax. I plan on doing a ceramic coat this year. Also because the dealership added wax to the paint, I didn't have to do anything that much. I'm not sure what the dealership added, but for me personally, I use bottle-on sprays that technically not our waxes, but they're just enough to protect your paint for the next month or two. As long as you keep doing it, they will protect your paint. One of those is Shine Armor. This is currently on Shine Armor. Another recommendation would be Blue Bottle from Rain X, which is like a car washless type of bottle, especially for times where like poop falls on the paint. A lot of birds in my area, so terrible for your car's paint. That's why having an emergency bottle just to wipe it off is really helpful. Do you get overly excited when you see another W204s on the road? Yes, I actually do. However, as soon as I overtake that person's W204, I see an old granny. This car is really just for older generations, Mercedes in general actually. So I do get overly excited. However, I realize that it's just an old granny driving a C300. It's just, you know, like, it's a common sight to behold here in my area. I do get excited if I ever see another C350 because so far, I believe I already told you guys, I've only seen 3 so far, and if I ever see another one, that'll be nice. That's just how uncommon these cars are. I do actually see more C63 AMGs. One time I was on the highway and this guy just flew past me. It was an AMG C63 pre-facelift. And that one just, I was like, man, that was gray on black. It looked really phenomenal. And finally, the final question. Have you had any suspension problems? If so, what are they? Well, I do actually, because I've driven this car over 40,000 miles in just a year, almost half now. I do have a bit of an issue with the link sway bars. Now these are really practically cheap parts. I believe you can get them for like 50 bucks on FCP Euro. They're actually the most common parts to wear down on the suspension component part of this car. It's also due for a change. I mean, I'm at the 111,000 miles, so I need to do that. They're leaking a little bit, just a tiny bit. The fact that I've been driving this for over 40,000 miles in just over a year, it's inevitable that a suspension component will be failing. So that's actually one of the issues I'll be facing soon, as well as the cam plugs and the cam magnets, whatever. Those are some things that I just need to keep in mind in the future, which I'll be working on in the summer. It is spring, it's still a little bit cold, and I'm actually freezing right now, so. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick Q&A questions that I've answered, and hopefully it gives you guys an insight to purchasing a W204 C350. Overall, this car has been terrific under my ownership, so I don't see why it wouldn't be on yours. Now, you also have to keep in mind these cars have a lot of different varieties, whether that's a really good condition C300 or a really bad condition C350, which I'm pretty sure it's readily available for a lot of market in the world. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick video I made. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.